and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Grimes with your host, Michelle Sutton. It's Friday night, and well, if you're like me, you're sitting inside because it's just too darn cold outside. So we're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything. The husband is working late, so you guys are my only adult conversations, other than a few friends. So, what better way to spend my Friday evening than with you guys talking about the beautiful Madalina Kojokari. Thank you, Megan. It's I'm not gonna lie, I haven't even ran a brush through it today. Um, but I appreciate it. Megan Elsa. And I don't know what I just said. Just kidding, just kidding. Anyways, so grab your Jesus juice. We are going to have an open panel here shortly. We're going to have an open panel. We haven't done this in a while, you guys. We have been very, very cautious with the open panels on the other cases just because I want to try to keep it calm and classy. So we're going to try that tonight. There are a few things that I do want to, go over and show you guys and share with you guys, because this case is just insane. Literally, it's just. So give me a second. Let me share this video to all the right places, and then we will jump into it. So tell me what you guys are doing. What are you guys doing tonight? Are you preparing for tomorrow? Or let's do this. Are the majority of your Christmas festivities Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? Like, I know that you have like so many places to go, or most people have so many places to go. Hey, Kristen. And so which day are you the busiest? Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? I don't want to hear myself. Stop talking. I want to share. Share. Copy link. Listening on my TV tonight. Glad to be here. Thank you, Cherokee. Christmas Day for Mel. Mel has theirs Christmas Day. So mine is kind of like Eve is cooking and Day is family. So mine is like, we don't do anything until like we do Christmas Eve with my dad's side of the family, the whole entire family, the aunts, uncles, all those. My grandma usually cooks. This year we are catering. She's in her 80s, so we can't continue to keep asking her to do it all. So this year we're catering. We've tried this before, and then the next year she was like, I didn't like it, so I'm going to cook. So we'll see what next year holds, but this year we're catering. And then Christmas, so when we leave there, we come home. Santa has usually already made his rounds by the time we get home, so we spend the evening doing that. Then Christmas morning, we go to my mom's. Normally at like 6:30 in the morning, we get up, go home to my parents. The grandkids think it's about them. In reality, that is just what we have always done. So we always go to my mom's at 6:30 in the morning. However, it's not looking too good. My mom is very sick. It's not COVID, but she's very, very sick, and none of us want this. Thank you. So I don't need to share it there, but I will go share it to Madalina's pages. Okay, where's Madalina Coach? Post that one, paste, post, and then that'll bring Madalina home. Paste, and then on Twitter. Let's post it on Twitter. All right, you guys, like the video. Let's see what we can get going here. All right, So, all right. So I've shared. All right. Let me get comfortable. All right. If I did not say hello to you, it was not on purpose. A lot of you, I don't even know you're here. So hello to each and every one of you, even the ones that do not type in the chat. Know that I am hoping you have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you, Ladybug, for being here. So, and then to finish off our Christmas, we then come home for a little bit and then go to Cody's side of the family. However, it is a possibility with this weather and this cold and these back roads going to be ice that I won't be making it there either because I do not drive on this stuff. I don't like to drive on this stuff. So, and there's no way there won't be at least black ice. And they live way out in the boonies. And I've had an experience in the past that totally messed me up from driving in the dark in icy conditions on Christmas. I was stuck in a freaking ditch for hours and hours on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day one year. And I said, never, ever again. So, all right, you guys, let's get down to it. Where do we want to start? I know where we want to start. Do you guys want to see the news clip from today? Let me just pull that up for you guys. Let me grab it and then share my screen. Yep. Yeah. Now, where's the screen share? Present. Hey, Paulina. All right. This is the news interview from today. Why did that do that? Let me find it, you guys, because it's being funky. Should have been able to just click on the link. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Now make it big. Make it big. Make it big. The world. Let's close that out. Why is it not playing, you guys? What's going on? Let's refresh the page. Give it a second. It's being funky. It is almost 9 degrees here. Oh, I'm a cancer survivor too, Ladybug. Come on now. Don't be evil. Try it again. What is going on?
Guy and Cornelius police released these two new pictures of Madalina Kojikari the Cornelius child who's been missing since November. Investigators say it took her parents 22 days to report her missing. We just found out about it last week. Both of them are now in jail, charged with failing to report a missing child. Channel 9's crime reporter Hunter Sines is live in Cornelius. And Hunter, so many people have been moved by this case, not just locally, but nationwide.
Yeah, Evan, so many people are plugged into this case. We are here outside of Madalina's home in Cornelius. This is the last place her mother says she saw her in late November. And now neighbors and people across the country continue to do what they can to spread the word. These new photos released by police and the FBI show a joyful Madalina Kojakari and her love of horses. The case of this 11-year-old, now missing for more than a month, has gripped this community.
I've kind of become consumed by the case.
Rochelle Charles lives in Cornelius and has 2 girls herself. For this mother, the heartbreaking case hits home.
My girls are 10 and 12, so she's right in between their age. And I just can't imagine the situation happening, to a little girl that age.
Investigators haven't said much about this disappearance, as many still wonder about the latest on the search efforts for her. With little to no family in the area, a community has come together to support Madalina.
Who's going to advocate for those that aren't able to voice for themselves? I mean, Madalina cannot voice for herself. We don't know where she's at.
Michelle Sutton is a missing child advocate. She and others are following the case and spreading the word online, including in this Facebook page named Where is Madalina Kojakari? It has nearly 5,000 members and counting, sharing the latest developments on the case, praying the power of social media will pay off.
Because you don't know who you're friends with on social media most of the time. And so it may be someone who's in that area that shares that flyer that somebody else sees, or they shared your video and somebody else seen it, that has seen one of these children.
Efforts many hope will lead to a Christmas miracle and Madalina's safe return.
This is the time where we're spending together with our families, our kids, getting excited about Christmas. This little girl is missing.
And if you remember, on Wednesday, investigators went inside this home and came out with bags and a box of evidence. We still don't know what they took with them. That could be detailed in a search warrant. We've been trying to get our hands on that since Wednesday, but we are told we likely could get that search warrant on Wednesday of next week once the Mecklenburg County Courthouse opens back up after the holidays. We're live in Cornelius tonight. Hunter Sines, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Hunter, I know you'll stay on top of it. A lot of people interested to find out what within those bags. Thank you, Hunter. This is a developing story, of course. Check our WSOC News app for updates and make sure you have the breaking news push alerts turned on.
And there it is, you guys.
In border.
Whoa.
We have some better news for you when it warms up when I come back.
Thanks, you guys, for all the love. It goes to show that there is still some good in the true crime community. There is still some fighting for these children. To see the amount of love that this child has received from so many strangers, and to see this case catching fire like it has, just makes me proud to be a part of this, I guess, community, as it's called. I don't like using that word, but it is what it is. And knowing that, no, by myself, I can't make the difference, but I can help in making that difference. And that's what I want to continue to do. Here we are the night before Christmas Eve, when normally an 11-year-old is just so excited and cannot, wait to see what's going to be underneath that tree Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, and knowing that this child's not going to be at home with her parents because they can't answer the basic questions of what happened. we've looked at mom and we've looked at the stepdad, and, everybody is like going to differ in their opinions and whatnot. And there's not a whole lot when we, normally we can drag up all kinds of information, but we have this country divide here where she's from Moldova. And we can't get any past history or anything. So we're only basing this off of what we can find from her being here in 2017 until now. There's a lot of rumors and speculations out there, and more power to you if your theories check out. I'm the type of person that I want to debunk what I hear, and that's inevitably how we get the truth out, is debunking these theories. And one of the theories was that, they met on a online dating website. Okay, maybe they did. And that, oh yes, you guys, I forgot the Instagram is now up and running. Kristen worked on that today and got it up and running for us. So go ahead and hit that. What is it? Follow? Yeah, follow me on Instagram, you guys. Anyways, they may have met on that's most likely how they met, was on an online dating website. I believe that's probably how it happened. But there's also been rumors that they had never met in person and that she came here and married him. That is not the case. There is proof that he did travel to Moldova in 2014, possibly other times as well. But they did meet beforehand. He did meet the family beforehand, and he talked in the comments about how much he enjoyed meeting the family. So, he doesn't have a whole lot. Thank you, Tammy. He doesn't have a whole lot of social media. I mean, he is 60. He was in his late 50s when they married. So, there's the big age difference. We have the video of mom of Diana where she did a weight loss video. She did it there in Moldova, where she did a weight loss program to lose weight so that she could remarry. So mom has a whole lot more social media presence. She has some interesting videos. The majority of those videos are in Russian. People have said that she's speaking Romanian. She's not. It's Russian, and it can be translated into Russian. And I figured tonight we could kind of just go through those videos and kind of like get a read on what we feel, because I know what my feelings are, and I don't want it to be like I'm being biased. I know what the statistics show. I know what the statistics say, that, this is most likely, a case where the man is the abusive one and the controlling one. And I kind of get I sense something different. So I wanted to just like kind of unveil these together and translate them together and see if I'm wrong. And if I am, I need to be guided to the right direction. You guys know that I'm completely okay with saying that if I'm wrong. So let me get over here to her Facebook page and let's look into it, you guys. All right. So we've already taken a look at her Russian platform, the Oki. I don't know how to say it, but anyways. All right. So here we are, you guys. I am not on the StreamYard screen, so I'm not going to see comments for a few moments. But we can do that one. So, I mean, at firsthand, there's really nothing. Just where she changes her profile pictures. This was September 28th. This is also on the Oki website, the other platform she uses. This she put up in August, and this one I think is Madalina. I'm pretty sure that's Madalina in that photo. Yes. So that's Madalina. So back in August, Mom did post a photo of Madalina, which people have stated that Mom didn't post the photos until she went missing. But that was in August, so there was a photo of her posted. And, you know, we also have the fact that this is a private Facebook, so we can't see all the posts without being a friend, and she can't accept friend requests. So, so I want to find the one. Let me just go to videos. Let's see if I can just go to the videos and that. Yeah, here we go. I usually do this on my phone, so bear with me, you guys. Is this
Доброго дня. Сегодня поговорим о
they're not titled.
том,
Hold on.
что все есть. Доброго дня.
Is this it?
Доброго дня.
Nope.
Сегодня
It's one by the lake.
зачту
I know
вам
that.
молитву.
Let me do it this way. 'Cause
Доброго дня. Сегодня дадим манифест женщинам. Ты просто космос. Глубоких женщин часто неправильно понимают, потому что они необычайны. Они те, кого встречаешь один раз в жизни. Они отличаются большим сердцем.
let me get the right video, you guys.
Доброго дня. Портал столетий.
Yeah, she's got some strange things. I sat and translated things, and it's supposed to be like meditation stuff, or that's what you would assume by watching these videos, is that it would be
You should know how to spell my name. You go to my school.
they're like prayers. Like she's like doing like meditation type and being one with the nature, and I don't know, you guys. It's and some of these videos we're gonna do Google Translate with. What the world? Okay. See, it would be much easier if StreamYard would let me share my screen from my phone, you guys. That needs to be something that they do in the new year, is set it up so that we can stream from our phones. I mean, share our screen from our phones. Okay, this see. January 11th. All right. I mean, like, this is one of the videos that I translated. Um, like and this I want somebody to translate that because she says it's interesting, but I don't know what it says, and I can't copy it and paste it into Google Translate. So, is that it? Everything is experience. Ophius is my new mind. Let's see one of these prayers of the soul. I was trying to do the one in English first, but we might not get to do that one first, you guys, because I'm having trouble finding it. Come back, you seeker. Her. Oh, Lord.
You look so different.
The heredity to men. Now victory is our joyful song. Victory now our song. Kella. So if you want to serve the Creator, path to self-improvement, manifesting, prayer for zero in the husband or wives of foreign civilization. Let everyone stand up for love. It will cure all the pain in the world. We need to watch that one, you guys. The world. Himalayan philosophy, searching for yourself in cells and realities. About a woman, the embodiment of pure love. The poem of the parable. Manifesting of the woman. Do you want to change your life? Fatigue is the moment where your mental and spiritual stamina is building. The time for the rose of love has come. Why does the soul become physical? To each its own grief. Like, she's posting these like every day. Who needs prayer and why? And then there's some that don't have a title.
Who is this group chat and why? And then she says, oh. And I said,
Causes of children's illnesses and own diseases. What?
And then I
What?
said, stop calling me that. And she said, why should I?
Will reset the financial collapse.
And then I said,
Cosmic success has been achieved. Prayer of nullifying contracts and the 7 sins. Gentleness. Is something wrong? Okay, here it is, you guys. This is the one I wanted. Is something wrong of being violent? So, here we go. Let me come back over here.
Is something wrong of being violent? It is nothing wrong. It is just a crude way of conducting life. If you say violence is bad, that means you will end up rejecting a part of yourself and you can never get rid of it because it will not go, it will come out in so many ways. People are very peaceful on the streets, but pretty violent at home. If they are not capable of physical violence, they are verbally violent, or they are violent in their thoughts or emotions, or so many other ways. So, rejecting violence, it's not going to work. evolving violence into a more sophisticated action. It is a need. The need is not for violence, and we people must understand. The need is for the intensity of this feeling, the feeling of being intense. The need for that intensity is always that there, somewhere inside you, stays that intensity, the need of expressing yourself, that special part of you in every human being. If you do not refine that need for intensity, manifesting yourself in your special manner, and manage to experience that intensity by simply sitting in the meditativeness, by simply going into the moment of your perfect happiness. Remember the moments when you were perfectly happy in your childhood. By going into this kind of meditation, that will help you bring into the present moment, wherever you are, whatever you do, just by sitting in the meditation and bringing that peace from your childhood, and the moment when you are perfectly happy will make you change your ways, will help you calm down, will help you feel better, secure, and right where you are supposed to be. You'll find peace into your heart, into your mind, into your soul, and that will help you recreate, reorganize your life, and put that intensity that is in you into a positive manner. This is the moment of the perfect happiness. Remember that moment and always protect it. Appreciate God and tell God that you are thankful for having this possibility of being yourself.
For Mary, to be fair, she feels betrayed by you. She's using these really strong words. Why do you think she thinks that way?
It won't stop.
Because I ended the friendship. I ended the relationship. I did. I ended it. It wasn't safe for me anymore.
Okay. So, um, so this is it's kind of hard to try to figure out like what she is speaking about because we don't know the context of what she's speaking about. And the ending is way different from the beginning of that conversation. I don't know if she's reading this. If she's reading it and off of like a piece of paper, and that's, where she came up with this, or it, I don't know. If anybody could like put that in layman's terms for me. because I can't make it. Sounds like she's trying to teach people that you can't fight your natural. You can't fight your natural feelings and emotions, and that meditation can help, is what I got from that. Okay. Okay. Hey, Jay. So, hi, Aunt B. Thank you for joining us. I know. Congratulations to Lisa over there. She over there on Harsh's video a while ago and won some merch. So are we? So Tammy took it that way as well. Anybody else take it that way? Like, I'm not, so for me, I'm not good at meditating. That's not up my alley. I can't sit still or quiet long enough to meditate. It would not work. I could not sit there and do it. Now I can sit in front of the ocean and stare at it for hours and never speak to anyone. But I kind of like, I don't think I'm meditating. Like, I'm just like watching and wondering how in the world God made something so beautiful and how it just looks like it never ends. So the meditation part of that is not up my alley, and I hope that's the case, that she's just meditating and there's nothing sinister about it. I don't know. Let's see. Do we want to look at what was the other one that I said I wanted to come back to? Gentleness, prayer of the full cosmic success will reset the financial collapse. Causes of children's illnesses and diseases. Kella, you're going to go upstairs if you cannot chill. All right, let me get my Google Translate. Hold on. I didn't tell you to start talking yet. Kella? No. Bye.
Сегодня мы поговорим о причинах болезней и карме. Болезнь – это сигнал о том, что человек перестал жить в гармонии со Вселенной и нарушает ее законы. Подсознание через болезнь сообщает человеку, что мы слишком остро реагируем на события жизни.
Okay, so far that has translated into, today we will talk about the causes of the diseases and karma disease. This is a signal that a person has ceased to live in harmony with the universe and violates it. The subconscious communicates to a person through illness that we are overreacting to events of life.
Занимаясь не своим делом. Человек, родившийся с болезнью или в проблемной семье, имеет карму прошлых воплощений, и его задача – понять свои ошибки, быть добрым к людям, нарабатывать хорошую карму и сеять добрые дела. Если же человек родился здоровым, но заболел, это значит, что он совершил какую-то ошибку, то есть нарушен закон природы, накопил отрицательную энергию или карму.
Minding your own business. A person born with a disease or in a problem family has the karma of past incarcerations, and his task is to understand his mistakes, to be kind to people, to earn good karma, and sow good deeds. If a person was born healthy but fell ill, this means that he made some mistakes. That is, the law of nature was violated and accumulated negative energy or karma. Kella Rose.
Детские болезни – это отражение поведения и мыслей родителей. Это сигнал ко всей семье. Нормализация атмосферы в семье ведет к выздоровлению ребенка. Ибо говорится, все болезни от нервов. И это действительно так.
Hold on. Childhood illnesses are a reflection of the behavior and thoughts of this is a signal to the whole family to normalize the atmosphere in the family leads to the recovery of the child, because they say all diseases from nerves, and it really is. So she believes that if a child gets sick, it's because of their behaviors. Shall we continue?
Обрети здоровье и живи дольше через спокойствие. Ибо спокойные, уравновешенные люди с оптимистическим складом ума реже болеют и живут дольше. Порадуйся солнышком поутру. Порадуйся тому, что ты встаешь каждое утро, и ты здоров. И поблагодари Отца за эту возможность прожить новый день. Человек окружен энергетической оболочкой, хотя мы ее и не видим, и пропитан энергией. Он постоянно отдает энергию и получает ее от всего, что его окружает. Иначе...
Okay, continuing on. Get healthy and live longer through peace of mind for calm, balanced people with an optimistic warehouse. The mind is less likely to get sick and live longer. Rejoice in the sun in the morning. Rejoice in the fact that you get up every morning and you are healthy, and thank your Father for this opportunity to live a new day. A person is surrounded by an energy shell. Although we do not see and is saturated with energy, he constantly gives energy and receives it from everything that surrounds him.
На чем сосредотачивается его внимание. От положительных эмоций и чувств объем энергии увеличивается у человека, чему способствует радость, доброта, оптимизм, вера, надежда и любовь. Объем энергии же уменьшается, если человек испытывает гнев, раздражение, уныние, неверие, зависть, ревность или даже страх. От объема энергии, вашей собственной, зависит свечение ауры человека, которая оберегает его от внешних воздействий, как кокон. Если же аура истощается, когда человек проявляет негативные эмоции, то появляются различные болезни, вплоть до смерти или бессилия. Узнав причины болезней, пересмотрев и устранив их, вы избавитесь от болезней.
Oh, what is his focus? From positive emotions and feelings, the amount of energy in a person, what makes joy, kindness, optimism, faith, hope, and love, the amount of energy decreases if a person experiences anger, irritation, despondency, unbelief, envy, jealousy, or even fear. From the amount of energy of your own depends on the glow, the aura of a person that protects him from the external influences, like a cocoon. If the aura exhausted when a person shows negative emotions, then various diseases appear, up to death or impotence. Sorry. Having learned the causes of diseases, reviewed and eliminating them, you will get rid of diseases. I'm not understanding. Oh, thank you for stopping in and wishing us happy holidays. We wish you the same. I need someone to now translate this into English. I'm sorry, y'all, that's not funny. I'm not understanding at all. And it could simply just be, oh, Jay explained it. So Jay, she is, and you can look this up and see what you think about it, because I mean we've already looked into it and it's questionable. I'm gonna type it in. She studied y'all can take this for what you want. .o.t.s. Oh, Jay, you'll have to come up here. Oh, speaking of which, let's just go ahead and we can go ahead and open the panel, and anybody that wants to come up and speak, you're more than welcome. And there's the link. You can click on it and come up, and we can discuss this. It's very alarming for a child. We are adults, and right? Can you imagine what this 11-year-old is trying to figure out? She's probably we know she doesn't speak Russian because the grandpa says that there's a language barrier. So most of the time they just spend time waving at each other on the phone. So is this a situation where she doesn't even understand the language that her mom is speaking? And her mom is trying to teach her these things, and and that could be the case where mom's trying to push her beliefs on her daughter, and at 11 they're starting to get their own mindset and come into their own and learn who they are as a person, as a child. So hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Okay, I'll get it in just a few minutes, Queen of Rabbit Holes. So you have a deeper understanding of what she is saying.
Yeah, because, but it's interesting. She's part of a branch of Christianity that is synonymous with links to National Socialism and fascism. It's one of those kind of churches that has been used as almost a front for people who may not be actual Christians, but may want to identify as them, if you understand what I'm saying. So
Right.
that's generally her background, and that type of orthodoxy is it's Christianity. It's based in Christianity, but what they really believe is so far from, you know, what Jesus was talking about, you know, and all that. I mean, I'm not a Christian, but I understand what Christianity is about, you know, and it's not that. It's about peace and harmony, you know. That's the general message that Jesus was speaking. But what they believe is very different. They're very pro. They've got very close ties to paganism, to the old ways of their area, of Moldova. So that ties into those type of beliefs of especially women being very subservient. That's where that comes from. That excuse is probably why she used that excuse, you know, because she reckoned that they believe it.
Yeah. So, okay. Overall, looking at this from, you know, the outside in, what are your feelings?
Well, honestly, like, I went to the parents right away, and I think, you know, ever since Quentin Simon's case, that's when I started looking at the parents more, because in the past I never looked at the parents right away, because it used to frustrate me that people would do that, because there's been cases that I'd studied where they'd done that wrongly, and that, you know, they wasted time doing that when they could have found the kid, you know. And that was the root of my never believing that the parents were guilty. But after that, Leilani, you know, I have been looking at the parents first, and I understand why the police do that. They've got to, you know, cover all bases, and you've got to look who's closest first, and it makes sense to do that. But I think it's the parents in this case. I think maybe her alone, the mother.
Right. That's kind of like, I say that I'm like, this is my balance wheel, and I, at this point, firmly believe that it's inside that home. Like, I don't see it being outside of the home. I don't foresee this being a trafficking issue. Whereas in the beginning, I did think possibly trafficking. And you guys,
the possibility for that is there, and I'll tell you why. Because, you know, whether she, you know, you don't believe she was a mail order bride. I don't see any evidence that she was a mail order bride, so I don't believe she is either. I'll believe it when I see some evidence. But as far as I say, there's high chances that she was brought into the country through organised crime, and that's a fact. That Eastern European organised crime, from where she's from Eastern Europe, is very active in the United States and very active in the United Kingdom as well. And you know, maybe she was indebted to them, because when they bring you in, you have to pay them a lot more than what you know the travel expenses were, you know, and they may have been in financial straits and had to give away the girl, you know, and that's what I think may have happened. She's just dealing with the children.
she's got her phone up so loud, and I'm like, turn it down. Yeah, I'm not seeing, like, originally, yes, like, all of those thoughts came through, especially with her being from Moldova, him being so much older. I jumped down the theory and the path of, oh, mail order bride. But then the further I looked into it and started translating things, and I'm like, I'm not seeing that. Like, when we see her,
Yeah, because she comes from a rich family in Moldova. She's not a poor person. She didn't come from a poor village in Moldova. Her family's famous, rich and famous. So they probably, you know, so that kind of does discount that theory and feeling, you know, because they would have just paid her way into the United States, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's almost like she was like the black sheep of the family. You know, in their culture, you know, Divorce is not looked upon, and we know that she's not with Madalina's bio father. Unfortunately, we have no information on him, if he's alive or if he's even concerned. We don't know any of that.
Is he a Moldovan or an American, her biological father?
I'm assuming Moldova, because Madalina was born in Moldova.
Oh, right. I didn't know that. So, yeah, we would be,
Yeah,
wouldn't they?
I mean, she was brought here when Mom came. It I think that we automatically, because of statistics, and what statistics show, we automatically jumped to the stepfather,
Yeah,
being the one who was controlling, and being the one that is abusive, and her being so terrified. But the demeanor,
she doesn't seem terrified to me.
right, like when you look at the overall picture, you look at the fact that this was not like they were isolated and never got to go out of the home. Or no, we see that they have traveled all over. Like, they've been in just what, let's see, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. They've been all over the US, traveling.
They probably see more places than I've seen in the US, and I've been living here probably a little bit longer than they have.
Yeah, I mean, I have lived here for almost 40 years, and I haven't seen half of the US.
Yeah.
They've definitely been way more places than I have. And, obviously we don't know what happened behind closed doors, but from the outside looking in, you would not think that this was a situation of abuse or neglect. When you see the pictures of Madalina, you would not suspect that there was, abuse or neglect. But that's what is so horrible in these cases, is that they look normal, like normal living situations, until you start digging in and finding out, oh, that's not the case. And this is by far, I don't know how long you've been following cases. Like, I've been doing it since I was in high school. Well, really before then, but really, really got into following cases in high school. And this has to be the one where I've been left with more questions than answers at the end of the day. I've said this before, like with Quentin Simon, when we followed Quentin's case, I too did not want to go directly at the parents. I wanted to,
Yeah.
It didn't
I
take
didn't
long
either.
for my opinions to change, just from actions, their behaviors. And we're seeing that here, where, the stepdad's actions are
More normal.
pretty straightforward, whereas Mom's are very up and down, and
Yeah, because I never got the feeling in this case, or in Quentin's case, that the stepfather was involved. I guess it's maybe because I'm a man, I don't look
and
at that
usually,
stereotype. You know what I mean?
and I didn't think that Danny was involved in Quentin's case.
No, because he just didn't look like the type of guy, and he just didn't give off those types of vibes that he was like an angry guy. You know what I mean? He didn't seem like that at all.
What's wrong? I know it's cold. I thought you was at your dad's.
I was.
You're done? Y'all already did your Christmas? You already did Christmas?
In the morning. In the morning.
Oh, what time you got to be there?
No.
Okay. Well, wake us up, because she's got to be ready to go with Raleigh at 9:30. So make sure we're up.
Either 10 or 9:30. 9:30 or 10.
Well, we'll get you up and get you dressed.
There. The Explorer broke down.
The Explorer broke down.
Yeah. Used blue. Had to change the fuse.
Okay. As long as it's something simple.
Yes.
I didn't know. You didn't call me.
It does it a lot. But normally I just change the fuse and it cranks right back up. But this time I did. Sat there and waited for a little bit. Kept finicky with it. Eventually I went.
I'll call you back.
Quick flip. Got it start up.
Can you go get us some drinks?
No, I can go anyway. Well, actually, yeah, in a little bit. Not right now.
I don't have anything. That's all I
I
was
gotta
asking.
go get my hoodie. Hoodies.
Oh, where you get? Where are you meeting?
At work, remember you told?
Okay.
I'm just trying to get my hoodie.
I know, baby. Okay.
I froze milk. Yeah, now I gotta.
Yeah, I know, Kristen. It sounded like it was so much fun. Didn't it? He's just like, yeah, it was so much fun. He has no personality. Like when he's telling a story, he's just like, yeah, like he could care less. Caregivers are the ones who do these things, especially when they wait to report. This, I think, that is like the biggest red flag for me, because it's not a situation where you see them wait to report a child missing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they waited nearly 3 weeks, wasn't it?
I mean, even Leilani called in immediately.
Yeah, even she was clever enough to do that. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know why they're playing that game of just not calling it in. I just don't understand. It's just silly more than anything else. Because it just makes me feel like they're really guilty.
So I just got an email, and I'm going to share my screen. This is some more information on her religious. This one.
That's interesting.
Just some drinks. Inbox. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, here we go. See what you think of this. So in Hinduism, I can't say that word.
In Hinduism, Kundalini, yeah, Kundalini, coiled snake, yeah,
is a form of divine feminine energy, believed to be located at the base of the spine. In the Muladhara, it is an important concept in
Shiva Tantra,
where it is believed to be a force of power associated with the divine feminine or the formless aspect of the goddess. This energy in the body, when cultivated and awakened through tantric practice, is believed to lead to spiritual liberation. Kundalini is associated with Parvati, or Adi Parasakati, the supreme being in Shaktisms, and with the goddesses. There's two.
Yeah, two Bahira.
The term, along with practices associated with it, was adopted into Hatha Yoga in the 9th century. It has since then been adopted into other forms of Hinduism, as well as modern spirituality and New Age thought.
Very interesting. I've always found Hinduism a very interesting concept because it links science with religion. You know what I mean? It links certain part, like by doing these meditations and chants, you getting certain chemical releases. Well, I suppose you get a certain chemical release when you go to church and pray, but I think this is a lot more intense because I've done these meditations and they're very, very intense. But you can argue that within Christianity, there's certain types of prayers and rituals that will give that level of feeling, because it's just so intense and spiritual that you get such a powerful response from it.
So I'm going to get Kristen to hop up here really quick. So I can handle something. I need to just step out and check on the neighbor. really quick. So it's a little bit of an emergency. So as soon as Kristen hops up here, so this is the. I know, I'm coming. I know there's fire trucks everywhere.
Thank you, Kristen. She likes my accent.
I know. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna mute.
Okay. I hope everything's okay with her.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
Yeah, fire trucks everywhere, man. God.
Exactly. Where are you from, Jay?
Well, I was born in Ireland, but I grew up in England, like Lancashire, so like Blackpool, basically.
Oh, okay.
I live
My
in
daughter's
America now,
listening
though. I live in Penn State.
Oh, okay. Okay. My daughter's listening and she's like, "Oh, I love his accent." I'm like, we're trying to figure out where your accent's from. So
It'd be funny if I said America like originally, because like there are some people in like Maine who do talk like that. You know, it's like in like rural parts of Maine because the accent never changed. They
yeah.
still talk like how their ancestors spoke originally, so they still talk like me. Pretty weird.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Did she read this next part? Because if not, I'm gonna go ahead and let you read it, Jay, because I'm on my phone, so I can.
Yeah, I'll read it.
It's like reading like little dots on the screen right now.
Kundalini awakenings are said to occur by a variety of methods. Many systems of yoga focus on awakening Kundalini through meditation, pranayama breathing, the practice of asana, and chanting of mantras. Kundalini yoga is influenced by Shaktism and Tantra schools of Hinduism. It derives its name from its focus upon awakening of Kundalini energy through the regular practice of mantra tantra, yantra, asanas, or meditation. The Kundalini experience is frequently reported to be a distant feeling of electric current running through the spine. Yes, I mean, with that type of practice, you'll get people who have a very peaceful response to it. Like me, like I got a very peaceful response to doing these types of things. But however, there are also people who have the bad type of response where they'll get mad, they'll go crazy with the power because they feel this power, and people who trip off power, like narcissists or sociopaths, psychopaths, or people with any antisocial personality disorder will have that type of response. They won't have the nice response. It's a dangerous thing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, you might know my background, but I don't. Even with doing therapy and stuff, like I can refer people how to do meditation and yoga, but it's not something I personally take part of. So I'm kind of leaning on you to really explain this because, yeah, I don't know from a personal perspective, but that's interesting that if she's having these negative responses to doing something like this, what that can be gleaned as far as possible mental health, emotional
Yeah,
disorders.
totally. Because it's like with anything really, or anything religious or spiritual. My advice would be get your head clear before you do it, and that rolls over to things like LSD and psychedelics. People who do these types of trips, people, kids taking these things when they've already got mental health problems is the most insane thing I've ever heard. And my advice to them would be get your head clear and wait at least 10 years until your brain's fully developed, because that stuff is serious. And I don't see it, like LSD and ketamine and mushrooms and things like that as being drugs. I see them as being like religious artifacts to use, not to abuse. But when you abuse them, it will abuse you, and it will abuse you a lot more than you can abuse it. So that's the dilemma. That, like, you had that case with that young girl a couple of months ago who took acid and she sadly died, and it just gave me throwbacks to when I was her age. A little bit younger actually, when I was doing it for the first times, and how clueless I was, and how I could have ended up just as like her in a situation like that. And it's kids need to be more educated, I think, and just not scared, just told the truth about it. That's all they need.
Yeah. And I had to pop out there for a while and I came back in and you were up on panel. I just think this mom, there's so much we don't know. Like we don't know her past in Moldova. We don't know if there's any mental health diagnosis. We don't know what she's been through in her past. So the history is not there for us. And if she has taken any sort of substances or whatnot, like if she's doing these things and then jumping into this, like you're saying, they could have a really bad experience with it and it's counterproductive.
Totally agree. I totally agree. And because she comes from a very wealthy family who are very influential, and however, despite that, just because they have money doesn't mean that they didn't have a bad home life. You know what I mean? So she may well have grown up being beaten up by her parents. Because I came from a very bad home, a very bad, poor background, and I got beaten up a lot by my parents. And I knew people, and I've known people now who came from very rich background and went through exactly the same as I did. And to be honest, it makes no difference whether they've got money or not, or what background they are or not, because it can happen anywhere with anyone.
You can live in a nice house and have money in the bank, but you still got problems behind that nice house.
So, absolutely. Like the whole Stepford wife type of scenario. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So we just don't know. I mean,
no. It could be she could be a victim. She could be a perpetrator. She could be neither. We don't know, and that's the sad reality. But the thing about waiting like 3 weeks to report it, that's just alarm bells to me. What more so than Leilani? You know what I mean? Like I suspect her a lot more than I did Leilani.
Well, yeah, because Leilani only technically. If you go from 6 o'clock in the morning, so she waited 3 hours, not 22 days, so but my guess is that this for Leilani that happened more like towards midnight, but at any rate she at least within 8-ish hours had responded to getting a police call in, and this mom and the stepdad hadn't done any of that. So as I've said all along to Michelle, like the reason she has to go for an ankle monitor is because she's a flight risk, and she's also the protector. So regardless, she's got more bail and she's got more reason to take off, and we've got to keep tabs on her. But if we're looking at child cases of injustices against the children, we're going to look at the mom more than we're going to look at the fathers if we have no other answers, because they're supposed to be the ones protecting, and that's just kind of how the cases are here in America.
Yeah, you just look at who's more present, then you know what I mean, and it's always the mother who's more present. I know from my background, I mean that's not always true, but I know from my background and my father's background and his father's background, and all the way back to as far as I can find out, that was the case. The mothers were very present, but the fathers weren't, and that's the same for me. And so you got to look about who's present the most. And the difficult thing is she's not a new mother. The girl's a lot older than all the other kids that these things have been happening, these tragedies have been happening, involved in recently. So it's a different kettle of fish. So do you understand that expression?
Yeah.
It's it's a different kettle of fish than the others. So we got to kind of look at it differently. But then again, she's putting more suspicion on herself than any of the others have. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, all the other parents and all these other cases have called it in like dead soon. You know what I mean? And it's
I mean, statistically speaking, for the cases that I had, like an 11-year-old would be able to call 911 or, get somebody at school to help them or whatnot, as opposed to the younger cases. When those cases first came to our desk, if we didn't know who the perpetrator was going to be, like a good portion of that time, we'd immediately lean towards it's the mother's significant other. Just
So you're a
statistically
teacher.
speaking. No. I was a child protective services court investigator.
Oh, that's
So
cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
so a lot of those times it was the mom's new significant other as they were trying to, you know, I guess navigate through the newness of their relationship, and the kids are kind of caught in the middle, so to speak, and tragedy happens. That's
Yeah.
typically statistically what we see here, at least in America. But this is not one of those cases. This is an 11-year-old that, I mean, she was, the last we saw her, she was riding the bus, so she could get to a person to help her, but I just don't, it's just weird.
It is. It's a lot because she had the language skills to say things, and she had lots of teachers. So I want to know, was there any investigation by CPS or the teachers, any concerns about her prior to this happening, or
Not that
not
we've
at all?
been not that we've been able to come across as far as CPS or DCSF or whatever you guys have there in North Carolina, Michelle. Child Welfare Services does not appear to be involved. However, there seems to be maybe a little bit of a truancy issue. So I think the
Right.
school was involved from that perspective, and they could have gone that route if it continued to be a problem. But I don't think that they ever arose to this situation of having referrals or
I don't
calls
think they
made
had time.
to welfare. No, I mean just historically speaking, like prior to this.
So everything was okay.
Good.
Okay.
Her fire alarms kept going off. And so she called the non-emergency number, and they come out and fixed them.
Oh, this is a neighbor?
Yeah, my friend that works for the welfare services. And then she just told me about a case that is here in our hometown that I had not heard about.
Well, let's hear about it.
Keith, I will do my best. I don't always get people unblocked. I've tried to get a few people unblocked, and I think it just, like, before they remember, they've done forgot type thing. Like, I don't think it's like intentional. They just forget that I said something to them, but I will.
There's a case from my hometown that's been like shared in my local paper, because I'm actually I still look through my like hometown's like stuff, even though I haven't lived there in a while. All the time. Like, this case happened in 2003, but because it's like coming up to the 20-year anniversary of it, they've done like a redo of it. This guy who was like a low-level drug dealer, he got blasted to death with an assault rifle. And obviously, because this is in England, it's really rare for someone, like even criminals, to have assault rifles. They typically would use a shotgun or a submachine gun, never an assault rifle, because they're way too pricey illegally, and they're not on the legal market to buy. So like the fucking rare as hell. Sorry, but and then there's been allegations, well, maybe that the government had been involved, and that maybe they'd been using him as a spy and things like that, to spy on higher level dealers and things like that. And then he'd like stopped giving them information, and then they got rid of him. Allegations like that. Really interesting case.
Yeah. Well, this one, apparently the mother, this one's gonna, we have to cover this. Like, we have to look into this. Because just by what she just sent me, my mind is like blown. So the mother left a 3-year-old and 1-year-old twins home alone. And when she got back, the house was on fire. And
oh my God.
Survive.
Wait, nobody survived?
She did, because she wasn't in the home.
Oh yeah. I see where you're going with that.
Okay, but so the mom has no other children other than the 3 that are
Yes, they weren't in the home. They weren't in the home. But apparently the neighbors are speaking out, and
this is in your town.
Yes, and
wow.
there is a Facebook started where she needs to be in jail because she's not in jail.
Huh. I mean, that's the beauty of this the social media these days. It's like you might not be in jail, but you're in social jail. And to be honest,
Yeah, they said
that's
she's
just
already
as bad
deleted
in
her
a town
Facebook.
like yours. You know what I mean? What you're gonna do in a town like yours? I'm assuming that it's like a moderately sized town, and that everyone kind of knows each other. So she's just gonna get dirty looks for the rest of her life. She's gonna have to leave if she does, even if she doesn't go to prison. She's gonna have to leave the town.
So Lisa, that's going to be my assumption, but I'm not going, just by looking at her photo, that would be my assumption. But I'm not going to say that because that could be wrong. I've been wrong on that before, so I try not to judge a book by its cover. Did you go to Food Line?
Little vending machine.
And this worked?
I didn't use that.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. But Pepsi are not sponsoring this live stream, although
This was in North Carolina too, Keith. This was in I won't give the city, but I can give you the county. Guilford County.
I like that you're drinking Pepsi. I'm a Pepsi drinker as well. I can't stand Coke.
Oh no. So I usually, if I drink a soda, it's Mountain Dew.
Oh, I love Mountain Dew as well.
I'm a sweet tea drinker, but Mountain Dew is my go-to when I don't have tea. But a very, very cold, really, really cold Coke just hits the spot.
Yeah, with the ice cream on, if it's Coke, I'll have it, obviously, because it's got ice cream soda, obviously.
I will put her name, and you guys can look into it.
Yeah.
Michelle, I'm gonna jump down, but hey, Jay, if you have other cases that you come across, you can always email them to Michelle, and we'll.
Of course. Thank you for letting me know. I'll definitely do that.
Even if they're cases that are back in England or Ireland or something like that, because it's nice for us to see how the differences in the systems are and why our rates of these crimes and injustices are so high here.
Yeah,
compared to other countries.
Absolutely, because compared to other countries, I'll tell you this: a lot more people in America get falsely convicted these days, and of crimes and things. And in there's been histories of massive miscarriages of justice in England and Ireland, but those are few and far between these days because of those cases. Because of how embarrassed, sorry, the Crown and the Irish government have been because of them. So we have, where I come from, there is a level of reform. However, the war on drugs is still very much in vogue in England and Ireland. And to me, I always saw it as a war on the poor, because you have these rich kids who get caught with loads of coke, and they get off because they can afford the best lawyers. And then you have people who came from where I came from, who couldn't afford any lawyers, who get caught with a joint. And, they get in the youth offenders when they were kids, and then they never had a shot in hell of getting a proper job. So they had to resort to crime. That's the type of world I see, that a product of that type of world, I suppose, and it should change. But there's differences in sentencing, obviously, because there's no death penalty. However, we used to have this thing which is really bad that Canada's adopted. That's like, no matter what, you're only going to get a maximum of 30 years for something. So if you're 20 and you like do mass murder, you could get the max you can get is 30 years, and you get out and you're 50 and you can go and do it again. You know what I mean? It's terrible. And Canada have adopted this policy, but thankfully Great Britain have gotten rid of it. But I just think, there are some things that you either need to be in for life for, and I do think there are some things that warrant the death penalty.
Right.
Especially things against children. Your own children in some cases. In these cases, it's beyond me that people could do that. It's just I mean,
Yeah.
I've done drugs, and Leilani's talking like it was drug related. I've done drugs, and I've done those type of drugs, and they're nasty drugs. But I never once thought of doing something like that. My
Yeah.
God, you know, it's awful. You know, it's just
Yeah, totally.
I can't. And she didn't even bury him in the woods or somewhere nice.
No.
Like she felt bad about it. She put him in
Yeah.
the garbage. She put him in
With
the
her,
garbage.
but she
That's what
claimed
she thought of him.
she claimed
That's what she
she
thought
just
of him all along. He was a
she
piece of trash to her, and that's horrific. You know that she just
yeah.
mocked that blessing that she got when there's so many people who can't have kids who would
Mhm.
make great parents. You know what I mean? And she goes and acts like that. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's even in the 8 pages of documents from the grand jury. She said, or they found out she was claiming that she just threw everyday trash in those dumpsters. So that's what she thought of her child. It was just everyday trash that she was throwing in those dumpsters. So that should
Absolutely.
tell you everything that we all need to know is, and we'll say it again, is how he was treated, and his death is how he's treated in his life. So, it'll be something that Michelle and I are covering really closely going forward. But right now, through the holidays, there's not going to be anything with Leilani that's going to happen. But hey, mods, because I'm on my phone, can you guys put Michelle's email address in there for Jay or anybody else that has cases that have happened, whether it's in the States or, like I said, in another country that we might want to cover? I give Michelle a lot of cases, and she kind of decides which ones are the best for her to cover. And then we'll go from there. Jay, it was wonderful to talk to you. I've never actually talked to you before. So
It was wonderful talking to you too. Have a nice evening.
have a wonderful holiday, and I'll be listening in. I just got to go do some things. And Michelle, if you need me, just text me, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye.
So really quick, Tammy, on which side of Guilford? Like you can use a description in the city that only someone in the city would know if you don't feel comfortable. I know I don't feel comfortable, so putting out like my city. So
You shouldn't.
But just because I'm feeling like we are like sitting like this with each other right now, very, very close to each other right now.
Yeah, and to answer in the chat, yeah, there are stricter gun laws in the UK. It's like a rigorous procedure to get a legally owned gun. You've got to like go and get a license from the police. So you got to fill out a massive questionnaire, and they check your mental health background, your criminal records background, and they also come to your house and check that you've got a safe to put it in. It was massively rigorous. I mean, I know this because my dad owned guns, so he had to go through that procedure. Yeah, and you can only have like shotguns, 22 rifles, and in some like in Northern Ireland you could own 9mm, but that's only for protection. But in the rest of it, England, in England you can't own guns for protection. It's only for sports reasons, unless you're like a politician.
So the yeah, that's completely different from here because
Yeah,
I mean, here you do have to, when you go into the store to buy one, you do have to go through the background check, and sometimes you can't walk out because your background check didn't come back in time. Like it can be
yeah.
anywhere from 30 seconds to 30 days.
And
Then
you can
you've
go to
got,
private sellers and you don't have to have a background check at all. You can just buy it
well,
right on the
that is
spot.
true. That is true, but I prefer not to do it that way.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
have
we just
legally
bought,
owned guns here. Yeah, I have a
yeah,
22
we just,
rifle, which I just use for target practice. And I have 2 pistols. One's a revolver, snub-nosed 357, and a Glock 9mm. And I also have a Remington rifle. It's a 45. I'd use that for shooting stag and boar.
yeah, we have, I mean, I believe in teaching your children,
I think that's the best way, honestly.
how to
I learned
survive.
I learned to shoot when I was 8.
And, they've been taught gun safety, and um, my dad hunted my whole entire life, and he quit hunting when my oldest was smaller because he freaked out on a hunting trip. And my daddy was just like, I'm not doing it anymore. So
Yeah,
the other kids did not get to experience the hunting, with, but, they were still taught how to shoot, the gun safety. And I feel like that as long as it's done in the right way, then, there should be no reason why we can't have guns. But that's not the case.
absolutely. I
So many
agree. I mean,
times
in
where,
England, people are like people are so anti-guns. It's so annoying, but it's like I'd say something as a kid. I'd be like, I think we should have easier access to guns so that like old women and people can defend themselves from muggers with knives. And I say, look, if someone wants to go on a killing spree, if you take away the gun, they'll just use something like a car. A car, you can mow down a bunch of people in a confined space. Just because you can do that doesn't mean we should ban them. We need them for things. We need guns for things. And that's my view of it, And sure, we should have background checks for people. If someone's, has a history of mental illness and is in mental health care, of course, they should have a flag on them to stop them from buying guns. But you can't stop people from getting them from private sellers because it's their right to be able to buy and sell and trade within guns. And I don't think we should stop people from being able to make money, and then these people we shouldn't criminalize these people because they're not criminals, Just look at Mexico, the civilians don't have very good firearms, but the criminals have better firearms than the military does.
right. And see, that's, okay, my son is military,
That's
but
good. That's great. I've always been interested in
he
joining.
can't go and buy a pistol. He can fight for our country, but he can't go buy a pistol.
That's crazy.
He can fight for our country, but he can't go buy a beer. I mean, he can't even buy cigarettes.
How old is he?
He's 19.
Oh, really? He's not allowed to. You can't
is
buy
in the
cigarettes
house.
at 19.
It's 21 in the United States.
What? That's crazy. That's
so
insane.
He had fun in Germany.
What the hell? That's insane. That's insane.
When he had to do his tour in Germany, he had fun. Yeah, but it's 21. And Princess Forensics, she said the most surprising thing when I moved to the South from California, was that Walmart allowed concealed and carried.
Yeah.
Everywhere allows conceal and carry.
Yeah. The good thing is about Pennsylvania. Yeah. Good thing is about Pennsylvania is you can open carry, and they can't. That isn't grounds to detain you. And literally, I saw a guy within months of moving to the United States. I saw a guy openly walking with an AK, on a strap, basically. I think he was a farmer, but he was using an AK. It's just overkill to the max.
Concealing, carrying, and all of that. I didn't realize that people walked around with AKs.
You can, yeah. It's
you
not.
Can't conceal that. So
rifle, pistol, shotgun
carrying,
doesn't matter.
When I think about carrying, I'm thinking about
a pistol on a holster. Yeah.
Oh, an article was just let out saying Christopher went to his family home. Hold on. Let's read this article, you guys.
Whoa.
Hold on. We're going to read this article. Thank you, Sluggy.
It's great that great that you have this so people can just put in some information. It's amazing when it drops.
Oh, Lord. I missed a whole bunch of conversations. Here it is. All right, let me go over here to StreamYard. Let's share it. Oh, I don't see the link, but I got it. Oh. All right. So, all right. Here it is. Tracing timeline in the search for missing Madalina Kojokari.
Don't sacrifice yourself.
All right. It's a video. Okay.
I'll mute for the video.
Yeah, I will too.
Go, go, girl, go. Girl power.
Eleven-year-old Madalina Kojokari was last seen.
Tonight, we have new images of the young girl. They're on your screen right now. Her family and law enforcement hope that these can prompt any new clues to help find her.
Our Lowell Rose has been following this story since we learned about her disappearance last week. Lowell, what have you all learned here tonight?
Well, over the past week, we have found out a ton of details through court documents obtained by WBTV about those parents and the timeline of Madalina's disappearance last month.
Share her story, share her pictures.
That was Cornelius Police exactly a week ago, roughly 24 hours after being called to Bailey Middle School, where they learned Madalina Kojokari was missing. The 11-year-old was last seen here on the school bus on November 21st, 2 days before she would go missing.
It's a sad situation. I can't even imagine for the poor little girl and the families.
Police found out after the school resource officer and counselor attempted a home visit and set up a meeting with the mother at school to find out why Madalina was absent. That's when the mother said her daughter was missing.
Her parents have failed to report her missing and have provided no reasons or no information as to where she is.
The mother, Diana Kojokari, and stepfather, Christopher Palmer, were arrested last Saturday for failure to report Madalina missing to police. Kaylee's law in North Carolina makes it illegal if a child is not reported missing after 24 hours.
24-hour period is designed, my understanding is from law enforcement, that first few days is really important in trying to find the person. And once you move on beyond a number of days, the risk factor goes up that there's been some sort of harm.
The arrest sheets for both parents say there was an argument the night Madalina was last seen. It's then said Palmer drove to his family home in Michigan the next morning. Diana Kojokari says she noticed Madalina was missing the next day, along with her bag and clothing, but still never said anything to police.
The bottom line here is the child is missing. Law enforcement needs everyone to keep an eye out, look at the missing child poster, and if you see something, if you recognize anything, report it.
The mother was asked why she did not report Madalina missing. Diana stated she was worried it might start a conflict between her and her husband, Christopher.
There's clearly every reason to be focused on these two parents, one or both of the parents, if you will. You know, we've seen this before. And this case is not without precedent, where parents, something bad has happened and the parents just won't report the child missing.
Since last week, police and the FBI have canvassed the neighborhood, searched Lake Cornelius with boats, and revisited the house where Madalina lives. Yesterday, the family of Madalina released a statement saying, in part, Madalina is a beautiful, smart, kind, and loving 11-year-old girl with greatness in her future. We are desperate to find her right now. She needs all of our help. We ask for your continued positive support in sharing far and wide the posters and pictures of Madalina.
Praying to God that she's found. That's really all we can do.
Now, the FBI is asking people to share this poster that you see right here on Madalina, whether that be on your social media page, on your front yards, or even on the storefronts that you see here right in Cornelius, to make sure that they can find Madalina. Now, as far as those parents, they will appear back in Mecklenburg County Court next week. Reporting live in Cornelius, Lowell Rose, WBTV, on your side.
Hoping for the best possible outcome, Lowell. Thank you. WBTV staying on your side, bringing you every development in the search for Madalina Kojokari. Just keep checking back in with us on air and on WBTV.com.
So sad seeing all that.
Well, now I still don't understand why she did not report her missing the next morning.
The only thing that comes to my mind is that maybe her husband is some like anti-government militia guy, but still, even then, that's the time. When it comes to kids, you just put that shit aside and you just put it aside. Trust me, I've had anti-government feelings in the past, and regardless of that, I would put that stuff aside when it comes to my children. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Unless the literal only conclusion in my mind that makes any sense is that they're involved somehow.
Yeah. So really quick, Tammy, when I said that I felt like we were like very, very close, we are very, very close. My husband is actually, that's where he's from. That's where he grew up. But we are, I don't know. Does that make us between Greensboro and Reidsville? I don't know. I don't know maps. Anyways, we just reread the arrest report on Diana. Does it say the next morning? Wait. Hold on. I got it right here. I will go pull it up. I got it. Hold on. It's in my files. Just let me get the right one because I have both of them. Is this it? I think this is the timeline. Let me see if this is the right one. Present, share screen. Sluggy, do you want up here? I can drop the link again if you want to come up.
The more the merrier.
All right, let me zoom in so I can read it. All right, this one says on Thursday, December 15th, 2022, at approximately 13:12, officer responded to Bailey Middle School, reported her juvenile daughter, Madalina Kojokari, has been missing since approximately 1200 hours on Tuesday, November 22nd. On Monday, December 12th, at approximately 14 hours, truancy packet was left. On Wednesday, Lampkin advised Madalina Kojokari's mother, Diana Kojokari, called her requesting a meeting in reference to Madalina. Miss Lampkin advised Diana Kojokari, stated she would bring Madalina to school on Thursday and meet with Lampkin on Thursday. Okay. Officer Nobles saw Madalina on Tuesday, November 22nd at 1200 hours. She stated that Madalina went to her room that night to go to bed. Diana stated her and her husband, Christopher Palmater, argued that night, and the next morning he drove to his family's house in Michigan to recover some items. Diana Kojokari stated that so it says argued that night, and the next morning he drove to his family's house. That's in her arrest report. You just made me die.
Yeah.
So, mine aren't asleep yet. Forgive you for that. You can hear her. You can hear her. I need to get a bunch made, but they're not everywhere. I'm so late, but at least I made it. What have I missed? Nothing that we don't already know. Like, there's not new information coming out. And I expected it to be quiet over the next couple of days anyways with the holidays. And I'm sorry. Like, oh my God, you're so in front of me. Yes, as sad as this is, I can't blame law enforcement for wanting to be with their family and loving their family. And
exactly.
Like, I can't.
Makes you cherish what you have more. Things like this.
So with that statement, which we'd heard it, but we'd also heard, I guess it was in his report that he left that night. But I thought it was in her report that he left that night, but we just read it. Right. That's what I'm thinking too, Sluggy. It's just going to be quiet the next couple of days. So I mean, without a doubt, one of these parents, at least one of these parents, know the whole entire story.
I agree.
Or both of them are covering for each other, or
I'd take 60% that or maybe even 70% that they're both involved, and 20% that only one of them is involved, and 10% that neither one of them is involved. That's what I'm going with.
yeah, I don't see how they're not involved, how they don't know something like.
Exactly.
But the fact that she says that he left the next morning, and when she found her, when she went to wake her up at 11:30, she was gone. A book bag was gone, and some clothes were gone. Hello. Why? Okay, but she waited until her husband returned before asking, "Why didn't you call him?" And be like, "Do you have Madalina?"
Exactly. They clearly didn't have much of a, they clearly didn't have much of a functional relationship, did they? Or where she didn't feel like she could just ask that. But I think there's something very odd about her. I mean, her beliefs as well, they're very cruel types of beliefs. She's got the cruel effect of something that should generally be a very peaceful, thing, like meditation and yoga and things like that. She's gotten a cruel effect from it. It means she's a very cold person. Only very cold people get that type of effect from it, whereas normal people get an added sense of empathy. It seems like she loses empathy from it. It's crazy.
Discovering the truth. I have not seen that or heard that. So if you have a link, could you email it to me? I would greatly appreciate it. We will take a look at it.
That's interesting. I'd like to see that.
So Queen, the last one that you sent me doesn't have anything in there. There's nothing in that email. It's empty, ma'am. So I just need one puzzle piece to fit, and then I could like.
They should let you in there with her. Just ask her questions as a mother. I reckon you get.
Oh, I know. I said, can somebody just like let me into the interrogating room as a mother? No, there's no link.
No.
He sounds like Patty the Batty.
Oh, you like his accent?
He sounds exactly like Patty the Batty.
I don't know who Patty the Batty is.
Fighter.
Oh, you sound just like a fighter.
Yeah. I know who he is.
Oh, I didn't know who he was, but okay.
He's from he's from very close to where I come from.
Yeah, see, we have the boring accents, and they have these wonderful, mesmerizing accents.
But to us, your accents are very mesmerizing because, yours are so different. You know what I mean?
We sound like a bunch of rednecks who can't even use correct punctuation, and.
But that's how we're portrayed. Like that's how, because I grew up in the north of England, and London, the capital, is in the south. So it's ass backwards in England, where the people in the north are treated like the rednecks who don't speak properly. Who like you live in bloody trailer parks, which I did, and things like that. Whereas in people in the south of England are all the fancy people who, that's the who look down on us. That's how it is. So I identify with Southerners in America more so than Northerners, even though I live in the North. And the reason I live in the North is because I can't stand the heat of the South. Too much for me.
It's not hot here right now.
Yeah, I guess I can, but
Well,
it's
I
just
mean,
in
and
those
that's the
summer
thing
months, it
about
just
North
gets too
Carolina.
humid for me.
Yeah,
Destroys me. I get ill from it.
North Carolina is like the perfect location because it's
It,
not
it
too hot.
is. It is. I've
Hot.
been there a few times actually. I've been to Charlotte a few times for soccer related stuff, which was very nice. You know.
So, you guys, I I think we're kind of like sitting ducks until at least the holidays are over. Um, it's like we've watched all of these cases lately unfold, and um, all these court cases are now. It's time that we're gonna really be seeing what's going on in these court cases now. They've got to be back next week. Leilani's got to be back in 2 weeks.
Who is it that's having the hearing? Or is it them who's having the hearing on the 28th?
That's them. That's the parents of Madalina.
Yeah, yeah.
So, just take me to Wales.
To Wales.
Just take me to Wales.
Have you ever been to Wales?
No, I've never been to England.
No, Wales isn't in England. It's Wales is
London.
close to England.
I've never been to Europe.
You are absolutely dumb.
I'm not. I just corrected myself. I've never been to Europe.
I've been to Europe.
I know you've been to Europe. I have not
Europe's
been to Europe.
a fun time. Europe's a good time, depending on where you go.
He had fun.
Yeah, very fun. You should go to
Straight
Amsterdam. It's the best place in Europe.
Straight out of, he hadn't even been graduated from his training. He got out of training and went straight to his new base and got shipped right on over. I was like, well, dang. You barely touching 18. Oh, wait. He celebrated his 19th birthday in another country.
It is.
That would have been a better celebration considering he could drink in Europe at 19 and not in America.
He had fun, I believe.
So karaoke.
He sang karaoke on his 19th birthday in Europe.
Did he still have those bases in Europe, like in Germany and things like that?
Is that right? Grafenwehr?
That's how they say it.
Grafenwehr.
Oh, yeah, the German. Yeah.
Right. And I don't, and that, I mean, I'm sorry. They have a job. Yes. Their job is to serve and protect. Yes.
I like the police so much more in America than in England.
Does that mean that they have to be neglected in this because we expect answers? No. He likes them better here.
Yeah, in Europe, they no questions asked, can beat you down with a club.
They just beat you with the nightstick because most of them don't have guns. They just compensate by being bloody tough bastards on you.
Means nothing. They just go in there.
So I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna end this, and just do a separate live that is not titled, and then we can just chit chat about whatever.
Okay.
Because I know that I'm gonna get bored.
Yeah, I've got to go and smoke as well.
Yeah, no, I forgot. There's other things that I've got to do. I forgot till I looked at my phone. So that's not gonna work. So you guys, we will probably do a Christmas Eve live during the day tomorrow because I will be at home by myself because the kids will be gone and Cody will be at work. So it's either that or I'll sleep. So
Okay. Thanks for having me up, Michelle. It's been a lot of fun.
For coming up. I appreciate it so much. And insight was amazing.
Thank you very much. I do try. Be nice to come up again sometime.
Absolutely. I'll do it again. Absolutely.
Great.
So
see ya.
I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. And then I hope you all have, if you're not here tomorrow because you're too busy, that is understandable. But I hope you have a very wonderful Christmas. Enjoy the time with your family and your loved ones, your friends. And I will see you on the other side of the holidays. I love you. Good night. Oh, do you want to see